The P, the U, the R, the E, the B, the O, the Y, the S. It's Pure Boys. Hold up, it's Pure Boys.
Yeah, I got two throats.
The P, the U, the R, the E, the B, the O, the Y, the S. It's Pure Boys. Hold up, it's Pure Boys.
Say what?
Yeah. Hey, what's up, Fudge Packers? Welcome to Pure Boys Podcast. I'm Adam, and I have a hair in my mouth. I can't get it out, and urine.
Isn't it wonderful that as you progress through life, you get better and better at pulling hairs out of your mouth? Like, when I was a 7-year-old, I was sitting there for like 15 minutes trying to get a hair out of my mouth, and now I can just pop her out, instantly. I got all the tongue techniques. I know what all the feels feel like, and you could just effortlessly pull out a hair from betwixt your mouth seamlessly.
Who are you?
I'm Steve.
Steve. I love that you were just pointing at your wife going like, I have all the tongue techniques, and she was like, no bueno, no bueno.
I don't go downtown. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, I know. I get it. Your hero is DJ Khaled. I understand that there are certain things that a man of God must not be asked to do.
Well, you gotta wash your beard once in a while, so I guess, once in a blue moon.
Ugh. Well, I don't like what the implication of you have to wash your beard every once in a while means for what we were talking about. But this week, we're talking about 2011's Run On, an experience unlike any other.
A period piece, I guess, now that we're in 2022?
Yeah, I think so. In that, it's mostly about periods, yeah.
Yeah, a lot of period jokes from a lot of old men, which is cool.
It is.
It's cool. In 2011.
They get it. That's the thing about old men. They get what it's like to be a young woman on her period on the reg. They get it. They're funny guys.
There's definitely no insecurities throughout this whole stand-up special. We're just getting right to the meat of the matter.
Yeah, and we're missing out on all the interesting parts of it.
Yeah, I definitely checked out during the interesting parts.
Oh my God. Before we get into any of Run On, we need to, of course, start this episode the way we start all episodes of the show, and that is with the Pure Boys prayer.
God bless our podcast. God bless all podcasts.
We love you. Beautiful.
Pepperoni salami.
Dear Lord Pepperoni Salami, we love you. That's the first time you and I have ever clasped our hands while we prayed. Every time we do the Pure Boys prayer, we just look at each other and do it. This is the first time we put our hands together like we were actually praying. And I gotta say, it felt a lot better.
Yeah, I felt closer to God when I had my hands clapped. There's something about your palms being so close together that you can hardly even stand it. That really gets you close to God.
When you pray and you put your hands together like that, you're pushing them together. You're pushing as hard as you can, pushing your palms together, right?
Yeah, I'm definitely trying to crush my thenar eminence into each other to create one.
That's a good call. Your elbows are supposed to hurt at the end of a prayer, correct?
Yes. If you're a priest, pastor, reverend, whatever you call them, isn't checking your elbows after you pray, you got a bad priest. You got a clunker.
Exactly. And that's what they say about your elbows if they're not feeling sorry. Oh, you got a clunker. Sorry.
Yeah, that's a clunker. You got to leave.
Those elbows aren't cherry, man. I'm sorry. It's a real clunk. It's a fixer-upper. That's what your upper arm is.
Yeah, I definitely want a priest to reference everything as cherry.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, point at me as a young boy and go, that's cherry right there. That's...
That is not a sign. It's not, you can't, look for a deeper meaning there. He's saying it like it is.
Yeah, and that's what we respect about the church and priests in general, is they say it like it is. They point at themselves and go, I'm an old clunker. This 11-year-old boy's cherry. Welcome to the church.
There's a song in there, at least some slam poetry. That was absolutely beautiful there.
Thank you.
Adam.
You're right, though. There is a song in here, and it goes, you're going to run on for a long time. Run on, go, run. this song sounds like it's racist. But it's not. But it sounds like it is.
It's not racist.
It's not.
A lot of amazing men and women have done covers of it. Yeah.
Or if you're in Moby's case, you just take a different cover that someone did and then just chop her up and slap a fun beat under it.
Is it Moby? I thought it was Moby.
It's Moby. It's big old Mobies. Yeah. It's...
Yo, that boy is cherry.
I love... Okay, quick side note. There is a Moby documentary coming out soon, and I watched the trailer for it, and it's like... The get ready to see the rock star life of Moby and all the drugs and all the ugliness that comes with it. And I go, like, from Moby? Like that guy? Nah, I don't care. This isn't The Dirt. I'm not that interested in the things that Moby went through to make bland electronica music. Good for you, Moby. But just it's like if a documentary came out about Bill Gates that was like, Bill Gates is slanging tang all over the town. I go, nah, I don't really believe that.
The only thing that makes me believe it is how pale and gaunt Moby is. Other than that, he just seems like a computer nerd.
Exactly. Well, you know what my favorite thing about Moby is that he said that he used to date Natalie Portman, and she was like, I was like 16, and you were just some creepy guy who was like calling me and texting me all the time. I don't think we were dating or anything like that. You were like a fully grown man, and I was a child, Moby. And he went, I'm walking it back. I didn't date Natalie Portman. I was just kidding.
We just went to Disneyland. I'm not a crook.
It's a great song. And a fine album. Plays fine. It's okay.
Yes, but we should cancel Moby?
Nah, I mean, let's see. He's got those big vegan tats on his arms now. He's a cool guy. He's got it all sorted out.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, the vegan tat saved him.
Well, exactly. Saved his life. Saved his wife.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, we watched, what did we watch last week? What was that movie called?
We watched The Prayer List. A Prayer List?
The Prayer List.
Right.
As you were watching it, was there like a question that kept popping into your head with each character that was introduced?
Well, as I was watching the movie and logging the situations that were happening, there was this like scratch in the back of my brain that I just wanted to get to. And I just think, like, whomst is the Bagger Vance of this movie?
Yeah. Well, it's time to find out as we ask the immortal question: whomst was the Bagger Vance of the prayer list? Wow.
So,
really
Adam, whomst do you think was the Bagger Vance of the prayer list?
Oh my gosh. Thank you so much for asking, Steve. First of all, I just want to say thank you for joining us here today, and I appreciate your opinion on this topic. For me, the Bagger Vance of the prayer list was, of course, Taekwondo. It taught lessons, and it was part of her life. And for those reasons and many other reasons that I don't have time to get into, that's why Taekwondo is my Bagger Vance of the prayer list. Steve, whomst was your Bagger Vance of the prayer list?
Well, I thought about this a lot. This is basically all I think about throughout the week.
Yeah.
But I still don't think I thought about it enough, you know. I didn't really give it its just a palm that it requires to really delve down into whomst the Bagger Vance.
Of course.
So today I'm pushing it out of my life, and I'm not going to give you the whomst the Bagger Vance of this movie was. Just kidding. That's crazy. Yeah, it was a kidding. I did a kidding on you. I think the Bagger Vance of this film was the wedding. It really brought all the characters together. It really destroyed the best man in the worst possible way. Really made him out to be a twig of a man.
Wrap it up.
Which he was.
Wrap it up.
And that is it.
Perfect timing. Excellent. Great segment.
If you ever need to wrap up anything, just say, and that was it.
And consider this wrapped up.
Yes.
And if you ever need to let someone know that it's time to wrap it up because you only have 15 seconds left in the Bagger Vance theme song, you just twirl your finger, and then when that doesn't seem to click, you go, wrap it up. Let's go.
Well, you tried to pull out your dinger, but you're wearing a onesie, so that didn't really work out too well.
No, and it doesn't have a zipper from the bottom. I love this onesie, but I'd prefer if it had like a zipper on the bottom and a zipper on top. You know what I mean? So I could just like zip up, flop out, leak my urine, flop back in, zip down, good to go.
I would like one big zipper that starts kind of at your gluteal crease. Like in the middle there.
Sure.
And then you have to pull like between your legs and you unzip yourself.
Yeah. Okay. So you start at the gooch and then
you pull between your legs, you bend down, and then you pull forward and up.
You put your head between your knees and kiss your arse goodbye.
Well, you're definitely going to pee your pants.
Well, of course. And yeah, that's panic that you're seeing.
That's definitely panic.
Absolutely, yeah. Hey, makers of all onesies, make sure to put 2 zips on there so that dudes can get their dinger out if they need to, so they don't have to take off their entire onesie when they're trying to pee in a public restroom.
And if you only have, 11 ribs, then 1 zipper is fine.
Yeah, well, I mean, 10 ribs.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, you're talking about like, oh, I see what you're saying. I got you. Yeah. Excellent.
Pairs.
Exactly. I like to get 4 chunks of rib removed. Like, when they say take out their ribs so they can S their D's, they're not talking about the floating rib, are they?
You would have to think no, because they're just floating.
Yeah. And also, like, it's not my ribs that are preventing me from doing it. It's my big old gut that I got that's preventing me from doing it. Why did
It's not my ribs.
If I didn't have this belly, I could S my D all day long.
Yeah, that's a cross to die on for sure. You should take that to the streets.
Absolutely, yeah. Walk around the streets yelling, "Who wants to see me S my own D? Help me lose 110 pounds."
Help me.
Help me, God. Help me, Mark Sherwood. Help me.
You know, if like a personal trainer really wanted to make a big blockbuster news article, they would make you lose weight so you could suck your own D.
Man, I think that's honestly kind of brilliant marketing, and I'm shocked that we haven't heard of, or we haven't come across someone who's done that. I'm not saying somebody hasn't done that yet, but we haven't seen it. So, hey, if you're a personal trainer out there and you need to get a leg up on the competition and a leg up behind your head, if you know what I'm saying, then you start advertising that you can, in 24 weeks, you'll be S in your own D. That's a good deal.
Ooh,
Who wouldn't
24
line up?
weeks.
Well, depends on, how much junk you got in the front trunk.
Yeah, there's an asterisk beside 24 weeks.
Exactly. Could be double that. Could be the rest of your life trying to do it. Could be you try it once, you break your neck, and that's how your family finds you. Do you don't want that to happen?
Yeah, but you could also break your neck and not die.
Well, yeah, that's a good point. But if you break your neck, there's a good chance someone's going to have to help you at some point. From like...
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe. Yeah. You know what? That's a question for another day.
Yeah, I'm a maybe person today. I'm on both levels.
That's okay. You play both sides. I understand.
Yeah.
We need to find out what someone else thinks about S-ing their own D, though. And that's because it's time for everyone's favorite segment...
The Kevin Sorbo Tweet of the Week.
This one's another nooner. 12:50 p.m. on January 18th, 2022.
Push it out.
Yeah, push it in. If guns kill people, why are we sending people to fight or wars? We should just send the guns.
Oh, yeah. That's good.
A little bit of a mistype. It should be fight our wars, but he put fight or wars. So,
honestly, kind of makes the whole tweet pointless. Kind of just takes the wind out of my sails, and I don't even feel like I can talk about this tweet because of how sloppy it is.
Well, I think Kevin Sorbo is trying to relate how even the most godly of men can make mistakes sometimes, and that's pretty cool, but also clean her up.
Wow, you know what? I never considered that, but you're absolutely right. Through Kevin's mistake, he's teaching us a lesson. This is one of the Beatitudes, and that's what I love about a Christian like Kevin. Even in his weaknesses, even in his failings, he's still there sharing the lessons of God.
Teaching. He's teaching us how to live a godly life.
Exactly. He's a teacher first, a hardcore friggin' conservative second, and a man of God first.
But also gets a Metamucil.
Yeah, also, like, yeah, dude, you gotta push it out sooner than that.
Oh, yeah. I've been having some Metamucil on the regular lately, and ooh, boy, every morning's a great day.
Hey, why don't you tell the listeners how much you love that panettone that I left you on your front step yesterday?
It was good. It's sweet, yet savory, and light, but very filling. It's all the things you need during a holiday treat.
It's fruit, but also bread. That's a good combo.
What kind of fruits are in there? Is that like a I don't know.
Well, there's apricot, there's raisins. I think there's other fruits. There's one fruit that tastes really bad in some of them, and I don't know there's one fruit that tastes like rubber in some of them. I don't know why. There's just like occasionally a little piece of fruit that tastes like rubber that I go, maybe that's rubber. I hope not, because I've eaten a lot of it.
I think that's the devil. That's the little devil that they put in randomly.
You're absolutely right. Speaking of the devil, thank you, Kevin, for that wonderful tweet. Very insightful as always. I think this was a little bit of a cheeky coy boy tweet from Kev. I think that he was like, I think he's just having a little fun with his followers with this one.
A Christian like Kev.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Should we end the show? That's a perfect way to end it.
Yeah, I think we have to run on for at least 20 minutes, and then we can finish the show.
That's right. It's time to Let's Go, Let's God. It's time. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. It's time to talk about 2011's Pureflix original Run On, starring Brad Stein. Who? Doesn't matter. Ben Stein's Money, starring our boy Tommy Blaze.
Yes, Queen. We should have just reviewed Tommy Blaze and David A.R. Whitespies.
Here's the thing. According to my notes, that is all I did. I wrote down part 1. I have a whole page of notes about David A.R. White's section. Part 2, I have a whole page of notes about Tommy Blaze section. Part 3, I have 3 notes about Brad Stein's section and 2 notes just about the show in general. So, like, one of my notes is, I am not following this guy's story at all. Couldn't care less. He's no Tommy Blaze. So.
Well, yeah. And one of my notes is, Tommy Blaze is the best.
Absolutely. And one of my notes is, I don't know if they even have girls' bikes and boys' bikes anymore, because nowadays I'm not even sure if there are boys and girls. And the crowd goes,
oh, yeah, that's what we want to hear.
And he goes, I know. Yeah. And I went, Brad Stein, you suck. You're trash, pal, in 2011. What the heck? So
is that all we should talk about Brad Stein then? Should we X him right now?
Well, one last thing I want to say about him. He's wearing a pinstripe suit jacket and an Affliction t-shirt. And I went, that's a good look for a professional. 100% for anybody, really.
Well, what I want to say about Brad Stein is he was definitely on the Lolita Express and he's the worst generation.
Wait, is that confirmed? Was he really on the Lolita Express?
Not confirmed.
Damn, nothing would have brought me more joy than finding out that slab of concrete for a head Brad Stein was on the Lolita Express. What a delight that would have been. He would have been running on Lolita.
No, he's super rich and he's been successful in his trade and I love him.
He wrote those books and I love him. But we're not going to talk about him at all after this, presumably. Because this movie it's not just about Brad Stein, even though watching it, I go, I think he put this together. Like, I think this is his thing. And then, like, Pureflix, rolled into it or whatever. Because he seems to be, like, the star of the show. At least at the end when they're saying their goodnights and everything.
Well, Brett Stein definitely is the comedian's comedian.
Oh, yeah.
He's been doing it forever. He did legitimate comedy with magic, which everybody knows that it's the perfect form of comedy.
The highest
and he
form,
was
yeah.
probably at Montreal's Juste pour rire.
Oh, possibly. I don't know why I said that like a Frenchman. I guess I was vibing off of you there for a second.
Yeah, pepperoni salami.
Oh, hey, mamma mia, Giuseppe. So
That'd be funny if we kept saying that we weren't going to talk about Brad Stein and just kept talking
and all
about
we
him
talked
the
about was
whole-
Brad Stein. Honestly, I don't think we could because I didn't pay any attention to his part of the show. Like I realized he was talking about like California at one point. I was like, I thought he was in Indiana. I don't know what's happening. What's going on with this man's life?
Well, he was much like a prayer list, divided between California and Tulsa or Minnesota or whatever.
Yeah. By the way, those two, like Minnesota and Tulsa, are like a 13-hour drive from each other.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's no way that there weren't nurses' jobs in between those two places. Not a chance.
There's no way that 16-year-old girl should have been left with those karate people.
Taekwondo, please. For the love of God. Oh.
Karate people.
You know what, pal?
Taekwondo.
I'll put you know what? I'm going to put you in a room full of karate people, and we'll see how long you last against masters of the ancient Korean martial art Taekwondo. We'll see how long you last, Mr. Big Talk over here.
Well, do I get guns?
Yeah, of course. You can do gun kata, whatever you want, man. We can watch Equilibrium before you go in there. You can study the ancient art of gun kata and then shoot all those Taekwondo people. Whatever you want. It's your fight, man. I don't care what you bring to it.
Okay, cool.
Other
Do they
than-
have guns?
No, but they do have something for you, which is the gift of humility.
But I have a gun.
Well, that's true. Yeah, you open up the package, there's a gun in there, and shoot him right in the face.
That sounds like a good movie.
Yeah, you know what? That does sound like a good movie. Maybe we could write that. Pitch it to Tommy Blaze.
Oh, man, do I want to be Tommy Blaze when I grow old.
Oh, man. Did Tommy Blaze want to be Bill Cosby when he was getting into comedy or what?
I feel yes.
It's, as I've gotten older, you learn, like, how things influence you when you're younger. For example, I watched a lot of Dane Cook when I was in high school. Now I have this annoying delivery that is very Dane Cookish, and I hate myself every day for it, and I whip myself with whips and chains to try to beat that devil out of me, but it's a part of me now. He was very influential in a very influential part of my life. For Tommy Blaze, it was clearly Bill Cosby, because so much of his delivery when he isn't screaming is just Bill Cosby delivery. It was crazy to see.
I feel like David A.R. White learned how to do comedy from Tommy Blaze, because they both just say nonsense and then all of a sudden they start screaming and doing insane facial expressions to get a laugh, and it works every time.
I mean, it works better for Tommy Blaze than it does David A.R. White, because he doesn't commit to it the way Tommy does, and he doesn't have the posture that Tommy does. This made me really love Tommy Blaze. I loved Tommy Blaze before because of his great writing on shows like Malibu Down the Family Man and Hitting the Brakes and other things that we'll surely watch at some point. But seeing him perform, I was like, oh yeah, I get it, T-Blaze. You're the best, man.
Yeah, just coming in from Canada and taking over Hollywood and Florida,
Probably
presumably.
weird. Yeah.
And just living the dream, living the Canadian dream.
Exactly. So I guess we should explain what Run On 2011 is.
Yeah, probably.
It's a film on Pureflix. Anyway, moving on. So from the looks of it, it was a stage show put on by David A.R. White, Tommy Blaze, and that friggin' loser Brad Stein, or Brad Steen, or whatever his name is.
Stein.
Ben Stein's Money. And it was like the three of them talking about their journey in like segments and their prodigal son's journey and how they started with the Lord, left the Lord, came back to the Lord type of thing, right?
Yes. It seems the whole thing seems very written to me. I thought it was going to be more just like off the cuff stand up and being more like, bada boom
right,
type jokes, but it's really a story of their lives on how they grew up and how they hate their fathers, and
including the father upstairs.
Well, at certain points, but
yeah.
they bring it around. They all bring it around.
The closest thing I could describe this to is, did you ever see the show Tyson?
No, can't say that I have.
It was a stage production that Mike Tyson put on where he talked about his life and showed had a slideshow going behind him that would show photos from his life, and he talked about his journey and just as a boxer and as a pigeon racer or whatever, all the stuff that he did. And this show was like a super low budget Christian version of that, except not interesting or exciting or good at all. Tyson is great. This is even better somehow.
You're calling this low budget? Tyson's was even more pizzazz?
Well, I'm saying Tyson was performing in an actual theater and not a mega church. He wasn't performing in front of a congregation. He was performing on Broadway or off Broadway, something like that. He was a big, Real Deal Holyfield.
Yeah, or a really nice high school theater.
Exactly. Yeah, one where they have the lighting already set up and they don't have to and you don't have to sit in bleachers. They have actual rows of seats there.
Yeah. I'm sure there's a Christian high school that definitely has a theater like this in the States. Maybe even a couple.
Well, I mean, I went to a Christian high school that had that.
Ooh la la! I guess I'm from the sticks. I got dirty knees.
Yeah, you might as well be going to Moody College in Chicago, Illinois.
Oh, Moody College. Why wasn't the whole stand-up special about Moody College? Seems like a magical place.
Truly. Oh, yeah, and it's just a place where young boys with wide-eyed boys from Kansas can just go and get frickin' laid,
Yeah. And girls, apparently, because you got to get laid with the ladies.
Well, someone's got to lay them. So that's what the Kansas boys are there for. So movie opens, not a movie, this production opens, and so it's split up into three segments. The first segment is David A.R. White's, the second segment's Tommy Blaze, third segment's Brad Stein. But I think that each of the guys performed in each segment. We're just seeing one of their three pieces of the story. If I had to guess.
That would make it too long, I think.
It'd be 4.5 hours if they each got it 90 minutes to tell their dumb story.
So they all had a redemption story and then a divorce story and then a moving to California story.
Yeah, or whatever the equivalent of that would be for each of them. I just... Because, especially Tommy Blaze's story feels like we're only getting a quarter of the story. And he's referencing things that the audience seems to get that we haven't heard before. So I think there's at least more to what they did than what we saw in this video.
I think you could be right, but I chalked it up to bad writing and just the audience just believing in anything they said. That's what I thought I saw.
The lie that Tommy Blaze tells to start his story is I definitely can see where you're coming from with that. Because he tells such a tall tale at the start of his story. And I just go this is the lie you told to the judge because you couldn't say I was on a coke bender for 2 weeks and I missed my court date. You had to be oh, it was raining and I got a flat tire. Sure, man, sure.
Oh, he was definitely on a bender and a half. I believed everything Tommy Blaze said. I couldn't get enough of it. I was lapping it up.
He was certainly the well, I don't want to say best performer because Brad Stein, unfortunately, was probably the most comfortable and the most be the best, like most put together performer on stage, but Tommy Blaze was certainly like living it up there.
Oh, he's been there before. And you could see that David A.R. White was the new guy. He was the guy that was on the come up. He was learning from Tommy Blaze the best.
Of course.
But he still didn't know how to like hit all his punches.
No, yeah, he hadn't quite learned enough from Tommy Blaze to learn how to deliver a joke. He learned enough from Tommy Blaze to learn how to scream and bug his eyes out, and that's where his education had reached at that point. I don't want to say it stopped, but that's as far as it got at that point.
The thing that David A.R. White has is a lot of Hollywood clout. He was living the life.
This story from David A.R. So, okay. First segment, David A.R. White.
Mennonite.
When I saw the title of this show, I thought, how is the Moby song going to be in it? And immediately, it opens with, you better run, no, like it opens with that. So, great. Check that off the list. Terrific.
Yeah.
Here's a joke from David that really sets the tone for the show. He says, I grew up as a Mennonite, and if you're wondering what the Mennonites are, the Mennonites make the Mormons look like Hell's Angels. And a lot of whoops from the crowd for that one.
Yeah, very uproarian response from the audience. They're loving it. They heard the Almost Racist song, and they just are primed for Mennonite jokes.
And he gives them to him. He loves it. I mean, are we gonna we don't need to tell his whole story again. I have his book that I could read that I started reading and it was boring, so I stopped reading it. It's no Being Frank, the Amazing True Story of Frank D'Angelo, I'll tell you that much.
Well, each section, each story that we get to see starts with the end. And his end is that he got punched by Burt Reynolds, which I swear I've heard him tell on like other interviews he's been on.
Yeah.
It's really his A in the B hole, you know?
Oh, it's 100% his like go-to Hollywood story. Oh, the time I got punched in the face by Burt Reynolds. Yeah, because you were being a ding-dong. You embarrassed him in front of a crowd of people. That's why he punched you, David.
Yeah, he was going through a divorce. He was like at maybe rock bottom of his entire life, really feeling it. And you come out dressed as him in a fat suit and think you're not going to get punched in the ear? Come on, David A.R. White.
Right? So, well, and we'll get to all that. We're starting at the end of David's story, and then we'll get to the story. But David he was a young kid growing up in Kansas, and his parents shipped him off to Chicago to go to a religious college so he could become an evangelist. That's what the plan was.
And become a husband, because where he's from, there's only 12 girls and 14 guys, and the 2 extra guys are... Ugh.
Yeah, well, hey, that was some racy humor by David, where he was like, there's 18 boys and 22 girls, so that means there's 18 happy boys and girls, 2 unhappy boys, and 2 happy boys. And the audience goes, we get it! We get it!
Woo, 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 woo. A lot of whooping.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. Not a lot of laughter during David's section, but a lot of whooping.
Yeah, for sure.
There's this weird moment. It was weird. It was hard taking notes for this because there's not it's just a performance. It's not like there's a through line or a story or anything. So most of my notes are just weird quotes from it. I go like, what? What does this mean?
I effed up because I watched this like 3 or 4 days ago. And without a storyline, without like memorable moments to like follow you through, you kind of just forget the whole thing.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's just nothing. It's like, hey, tell me how that. Well, literally, tell me what happens in that comedy special. You can go, the comedian told jokes and the people laughed at them, and I remember laughing.
Yeah, that's basically where I'm at right now. I remember that there was kids in the audience, and there definitely shouldn't have been. And that's about it.
What I love about the audience shots in this movie is that for some reason they keep finding people who are just like eating like eating lots of food. Like there's one point they cut to this woman who is double fisting an open Coca-Cola and an unwrapped chocolate bar, and she just has one in each hand, and she's just like laughing and enjoying her candy. It's like, don't cut to her. Like, leave her some dignity, for the love of God. This is an embarrassing moment for her if she saw this bag.
I feel like this was a congregation, or at least 25% of this mega church congregation that was forced to go to this thing.
I kept thinking, watching it, I'm like, how much were the tickets for this? How much did people pay to go to this?
How did this make money? And I bet you it made a lot of money, way more than you could ever imagine. Did
they do this more than once? Like, if you told me this was the one and only performance of it, I'd go, yeah, how else? Why would it be anything more than that? But maybe it was like a touring thing. Maybe they performed it at churches all over the country. I don't know.
Well, it reads like a touring thing, but then you also have to like take a step back and go, like, who would go to see this? How would this become a thing on a tour? Like it just goes back and forth between those two levels, and you're left with nothing.
Like, this is 3 years into Pureflix even existing, and this is before like the God's Not Dead movies. This is before like David A.R. White really made his stamp on the world of film. So like, what's bringing people to this in the first place? Is it a chance to see Tommy Blaze perform again? I don't know. For me, yeah, of course it would be. But for others, I don't know.
Well, it's very scripted. It's very performative. And you would have to do a lot of like, you'd have to put a lot of effort into memorizing these things, to hitting your marks, to getting the lighting right, and having a group of people put a lot of energy into this. And to not have that as like a touring thing would be crazy. But it also seems like, why do more than one of these?
Yeah, like you're right though. It's so many moving pieces. So many people had to work on this that for them to be like one and done. But yeah, who is this for? Like, I guess congregations come to our church.
Yeah.
Hey, we got this thing that's going on Sunday after Mass. Okay, great. Well, we'll stick around for the juice and for this performance. That's fine.
Oh, you got juice? Yeah, I'm staying for the juice, baby.
Oh, you have that awful peach juice? Yeah, for sure. I'd love to come drink that in the basement out of a big Gatorade jug. Sure, why not? That sounds great. You got paper cups? Oh. Excellent.
All they needed was O.J. Simpson at the end, and I definitely would have stayed for the juice.
Of course. If he would have showed up and gone, hey, it's yours truly. It's, hey, guys. It's,
you take care.
You take care now. By the way, I definitely didn't murder my wife. Maybe I did. I don't know. If I did, here's how I do it.
I'll never tell except for this book, and
of course,
yada yada. You know the story.
You know the story of O.J. Simpson. What you don't know is that at Moody, which is the Christian college in Chicago, there were all kinds of girls, including white girls, black girls, and Asian girls. David's so excited to mention that there were Asian girls at this school. He's like overjoyed about it.
And he slayed them all. I mean, he was a pretty boy. That's why he like made it so quickly in Hollyweird, is because he has a look to him, baby.
All these beautiful women just blinking and having "God bless you" written on their eyelids, and he goes, that's the girl for me. She's Asian.
40-year-old David A.R. White would slay at Moody's.
Wow, 40. That's a pretty conservative estimate, but yeah.
Well,
enough.
In 2011.
Oh, in 2011.
I guess we're talking about now, but.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. Here's a weird moment from this show when he says, when we were at school, me and the girls would sit around and we would discuss the fall of mankind. The Bible said it was Eve's fault. The girls thought it was Adam's fault. And CNN said it was Republicans. And then there's a long pause, and then the crowd just explodes into applause. Like, there's just people love that for some reason. It's weird.
Well, specifically during David A.R. White's, I think they pumped in some audience cheering.
Yeah.
Just to make it seem like he did a good thing.
After they filmed this, they went, we're supposed to mic the crowd so you can hear them cheering when people do things. So it's not just David saying a line, looking, and then nothing is happening. So
Democrats. Ah!
they said, CNN said it was the Republicans. Woo!
Whoop, whoop, whoop.
Like, I don't get what they were cheering for. Was it them being like, yeah, right? Or was it them being like, yeah, right? It's just a weird moment.
I don't think they know, but what they do know is down with CNN.
Amen to that. Yeah, the Cuck News Network, you know?
Well, one of my notes is FU CNN.
Just the letters F, the letter U, and then CNN. It's all letters, but you know exactly what it's saying.
Well, I spelled it out, but I didn't want to be too randy for our listeners, you know?
That's okay. David quit religious school, moved to Hollywood to become an actor, and he wanted, like, when he was growing up with his ultra-conservative pastor dad or whatever, he would always look up to Burt Reynolds, and he was like, I always imagined, like, Burt Reynolds was my dad, because Burt Reynolds was so cool, which, like, yeah, back in, like, the 70s and 80s, Burt Reynolds was super cool, so I get it. And so when he moved to Hollywood, he just wanted to get in good with old Burt. And the opportunity arose.
Well, for all you dumb kids out there, Burt Reynolds was like the George Clooney of the 70s.
Yeah, and for all you Zoomers out there, George Clooney is like the Zac Efron of the modern age, essentially. So there's a direct line from Burt Reynolds to Zac Efron. It's just 1-to-1.
See, I was thinking Zac Efron as well, but man, Zac Efron just doesn't have a lot of panache, you know?
Yeah, I guess Burt Reynolds is more like the Logan Paul of the modern era.
I was thinking Fogel, but that's still too dated.
Dan Fogler? No, I don't think so.
Anyways, he moves to Hollywood
No
become...
No one has ever said that Burt Reynolds is the Dan Fogler of the 80s. No one would ever say that, Steve. How dare you say that?
I'm sorry.
It's all right.
I need to nut.
Forgiven. 1 man, 3 nails, forgiven, you know?
Oh, yeah. You talking about the hands?
Talking about the hands and the foots. So
That's only 3? Oh, yeah, right, because they cross the ankles.
1 nail, 2 feet.
I always forget about the ankles.
I know, right? Yeah. Just jam it in there. Whatevs.
Mm-hmm.
So it's interesting that David always imagined that Burt Reynolds was his dad. Then he tells the story about Burt Reynolds, but then we know watching it that Burt Reynolds played his dad on Hitting the Brakes. So his dreams did come true eventually. And dying Burt Reynolds in his hospital bed read these ridiculous lines David wrote for a thing that he probably didn't know he was agreeing to, signed away the likeness to his photo and his children's photos, and then gave that all to David. Whoa!
Whoa! He crashed into a career. But so he goes out to Hollywood and he gets a regular spot on a sitcom that Burt Reynolds is the star of.
I'm going to stop you right there because that's what David says, but I looked into the show, what the hell was it called?
Evanescence?
No, crap. What was the show? I have it written down. Well, it doesn't matter. Oh, Evening Shade is the show that he was on.
Evening Shade.
Evening Shade. It looks like it was like a Mr. Welcome Back Kotter or something. It's like some sitcom. Anyway, it doesn't matter. But David's like, oh yeah, I had this regular part on the show. This show had 99 episodes. They were 1 episode shy of syndication. Very sad. David was in 9 of those episodes.
Yeah, regular.
Like, not even 10%. Like, I guess almost exactly 10% of the show he was in. So, pump your brakes, David. You weren't, like, crucial to this. You weren't, like, a big cast member. You were in... I can guarantee David's screen time is less than 30 minutes on this show. Guaranteed.
Yeah, but this, as far as money concerned, this was the golden era of television, and he probably still made like $250,000 or something. Although they didn't make syndication, so maybe not. But
right, that's the thing. He's not getting residuals off of Evening Shade. In fact, it's a show I'd never even heard of until today. But it also starred Ozzie Davis and Michael Jeter, and I love those two guys. So I don't know. Maybe it's worth checking out. Michael Jeter's great. Rest in peace.
Well, it would definitely be really good to see for midweek free treat. Maybe 2025?
That's actually, if we do the 9 episodes of David, hey, that's actually not a bad idea. If we can track down those 9 episodes of Evening Shade with David A.R. White, we got ourselves another midweek free treat.
We certainly do. Can you believe how long we've been doing Fat Chance? Oh my God.
Jesus, no, I will say though, David's story about impersonating Burt Reynolds with the pillows underneath his belly was the direct influence for Fat Chance. The directors of Fat Chance saw that performance and were like, oh my God, we should just put pillows under someone's clothes. Fat.
Well, you never know what's going to spark the mind, and that created a whole script, so...
Well, exactly, yeah. So Burt Reynolds used to introduce the cast at the start of recording, and he would introduce David as my discovery and refer to him like a son.
Which is, I don't know if that ever happened, ever.
Maybe once. Like, I could see him the first time, or like maybe David did something great in his first appearance that made Burt Reynolds go, oh, this guy's my discovery. And then he quickly shuts that door in David's face not long after that.
Well, he's so thin and beautiful and blonde and Christian. You gotta call him your son.
Well, of course. When I think of Burt Reynolds, I think of a beautiful blonde Christian boy.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. At least in a family photo.
Exactly. So David, he's like, I used to come out and do these impressions of Burt Reynolds when he would call me out to introduce me in the show. So Burt was going through a divorce and he put on some weight, and I said, David, or Bruce, or whatever your name is, Burt, can I put some pillows under my shirt to seem fat when I'm doing my impression of you? And he said, yeah, fine, whatever, kid, I don't care.
Yeah. He was probably like in the middle of eating a hoagie sandwich or something. Didn't really understand what was going on.
Well, yeah, 'cause he's so fat. He was too busy stuffing his fat Burt Reynolds face. He was listening.
Get divorced.
I do love that David's like, oh, and like to be introduced as Burt Reynolds' son. You weren't, but fair enough. At the height of his fame, can you even imagine what that feels like? And like Burt Reynolds peaked in 1976. Like, what are you talking? 1991 wasn't the peak of Burt Reynolds' fame. What are you talking about?
His whole story is suspect, and like he's really making himself out to be the new god of Hollywood.
Well, he's certainly making himself out to be a friend of Hilary Swank's for some reason.
Yeah, he says friend and Hilary Swank in the same sentence a lot. So much so that you start not believing him, but then you obviously, they're good friends.
Oh, they're best friends. Oh, I do love how the story of him and Hilary Swank wraps up, where he, like, just apropos of nothing goes, I remember calling my friend Hilary Swank on a Tuesday afternoon at 3 p.m. Just go, ugh, what the hell? Not good, David, bad. But then that story wraps up with him being like, yeah, after she had won her second Oscar, I ran into her at a department store, and I think she remembered me. I go, ooh, not very good friends with Hilary Swank, I guess.
Yeah, you really should have cut that out of the filming of this, at least.
Right? Well, and especially because he has one picture of him and Hilary Swank together, and it looks like it was taken when all the other pictures of him with celebrities were taken. So dubious on your claim that she was your friend. You knew her. Yep. You did. You had her phone number, I guess, somehow, and she was probably like, this is the only time you called her, and she went, oh, I got to change my number. I got to call my agent and change this number.
Yeah, that little line really undercuts his whole thing.
Yeah. Makes me just, at this point I have written down, get to Tommy Blaze.
And they pretty much do after that.
Yeah. His dad was forced to move to Saskatchewan over, like, I don't know, I guess somebody, like, according to David, there was a misunderstanding in his church and people lied about him. You go, your dad had an affair or something, huh? Your dad did something inappropriate, huh? Okay, well, fair enough. All right. Maybe it's a lie. Maybe it's not. I don't know.
Yeah, I had to go to Saskatchewan, Canada. Gross.
I do love that he goes like, they had to move to, get ready for this. Are you ready for this? Saskatchewan. And there is no response from the audience. Like, there is not even that's a funny word from nothing. And like, he says it and he starts screaming it several times and nobody is responding to that. David.
Yeah.
Sorry that didn't land the way you hoped it would.
Well, say moose jizz, Saskatchewan at least.
Yeah, say eyebrow. Say you moved to the land of rape and honey. That's a place in Saskatchewan. Tisdale, right?
Yeah, Tisdale for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
Rape is a corn thing, all right, listeners? It's not a rape thing, it's a corn thing.
Yeah. And we out in Haiti, so we don't even give a S.
Exactly. We don't know anything about Saskatchewan other than it's a funny word. David's so upset about Saskatchewan, though. Is Saskatchewan that different from Kansas? Like, the winters are different, but like, if you showed me a picture of either one, I'd go, I don't know. They'd look the same to me. I don't know.
Kansas is a booming metropolis with the height of fashion and the grooviest of tunes. Compared to Saskatchewan, it looks like New York City.
Ain't that the truth? Yeah, that's a good point. But we're in Haiti, so what would we know?
Yeah, we're a bunch of Haitian bees.
And you know what? It's time to move on from David A.R. White and get into some real creative telling of partial truths with the performance by the Blaze Man himself, Tommy Blaze.
Which I believe is titled What Does God Know? Which is pretty blasphemous.
Exactly. I mean, he doesn't know his arse from a hole in the ground as far as I'm concerned.
Do you think that Tommy Blaze might be God?
I thought you were going to say gay, and I would have gone, yeah, absolutely. But God, I don't know. Tough to say. That's, maybe.
I just picture God in Florida in a mansion that he doesn't deserve, almost getting divorced, and it just kind of fits.
Yeah, and it's not a bad way to describe God as a man in Florida on his last legs with, and I can't stress this enough, textbook perfect posture.
Oh, yeah.
Beautiful straight line from crown of the head to bottom of the tailbone. Just a straight, you could run a railroad along that spine. It's perfectly flat, which your spine shouldn't be.
Well, perfect Canadian posture.
Amen to that.
Do you think he has Spanx on?
Oh, definitely. Oh, yeah. I think he's wearing a corset on stage.
Yeah, he's wearing a girdle, Spanx. He's probably wearing it all. Like, you start with Spanx, then girdle, then you get the bustier.
Of course. You got to make your jubblies look good. Your machine
and he
gun
does
jubblies.
Look good. He looks great. I couldn't picture a man any better.
Out of the three of them, he looks the best. Tommy Blaze is the hottest of the three men in this. Said every review of this performance by anyone who saw it.
Tommy Blaze is hot. The rest I didn't pay attention to.
We joined Tommy Blaze mid-lie. Well, not mid-lie, mid-story.
He's definitely gone to prison.
Oh, well, jail at least, yeah. I do love that the first time I ever went to jail, it was for 5 days, and people go like, oh, scandalous. Guys, he said the first time he went to jail. There will be more from the sounds of it.
Lots more divorces and things to come. Benders, to be sure.
Did he go to jail for tax stuff? Is that a thing that happened later with him, or am I thinking of somebody else?
I think you're thinking of Jimmy Carr.
I'm thinking of Jimmy Carr. You're right. They're basically the same guy, though.
Basically, the American version of Jimmy Carr is Tommy Blaze. You're right.
Absolutely. See, Tommy Blaze says something in this segment that makes me think that he was on stage before. Because he goes, my story continues. And because we never hear why he wanted a divorce. His whole story is about like wanting to get a divorce and then it not happening because God told him not to get a divorce or whatever. But we don't know how he got to that point. We don't hear about that. And that's the stuff I most want to know. I don't care about the lie you tell about how God came to you or whatever. Tell me why you wanted to divorce your wife.
I wonder if we could tweet at David A.R. White and get an extended cut of Run On where the full story is told.
I would love nothing more than to get a 4.5 hour cut of Run On that has each of their 90-minute segments. That would be beautiful.
Which solves the problem of why the audience has so much food and candy and pop, because they needed it for sustenance to make it through this marathon of a show.
There was a lunch in the middle of it. A full-on lunch was served, and that we're seeing the desserts of it afterwards.
Yeah, an Asian buffet.
Asian?
David A.R. White just like, Head on a swivel.
Somewhere over in Hollyweird, David A.R. White's ears are burning, and he's like, they must be talking about all the Asians I love.
Yeah, he's dreaming about it right now. He's dreaming of us.
Absolutely. Nothing would bring me more joy than to realize that David A.R. White is dreaming of us.
Could be. You never know.
No, for sure. So the audience is loving Tommy Blaze. As opposed to being kind of lukewarm on David A.R. White's performance, they are eating up Tommy Blaze with 2 spoons. They are loving it. I don't blame him. He's a professional comedian.
I don't think we've mentioned it, but he just looks good. He's just so sexual.
In case anyone's wondering, Tommy Blaze is the hottest guy out of these 3 guys.
He's man meat. He's what's good for dinner.
Yeah.
That's how you sum it up, I think.
How would you describe Tommy Blaze? Honestly, I'd say he's man meat, and I'd say it's what's for dinner. Okay. All right. That's
and
good.
you can have that. You can have that, Tommy Blaze.
Absolutely, yeah. Do you think that during his set, like when they were preparing for this performance, do you think they argued over whether or not he should use the word pissy in his performance? Because he talks about how the judge at his divorce looked like a big fat Buddha, and he said, Big fat Buddha was getting pissy with me. And I go, I bet they went back and forth on whether that was appropriate. And I bet there was a lot of emails sent back and forth about it.
Well, it's better than what he originally wanted to go with, which was pussy.
Exactly. And it's better than what he called the judge, which was a big fat fucking pussy dickhead.
Which was apt. He was being a big fat fucking pussy dickhead.
Yeah, exactly. Well, are you talking about Tommy Blaze? Because in this story, Tommy Blaze is a big fat fucking pussy dickhead. So tough.
Yeah, but it's understandable. Like you know his journey, you know what he's going through, and you gotta act out. You're going through it all.
Well, for sure, right? Your wife. We don't even know what he's going through because we're not given the context of the divorce. He just says, I got a letter saying I was being sued for divorce. I was like, is that a thing that can happen? You can get sued for, I don't understand what that means, but I'm happily married. And hopefully I'll never have to find out.
I think it is. It might be a states thing,
right.
But your super hot wife can definitely sue you for divorce.
Well, fair enough. Well, you heard it here first from Steve himself. You can sue for divorce.
While I'm watching TV!
I wish I was an impressionist because I would love to be able to do Tommy Blaze's Bill Cosby impression that he's doing throughout the entire show. When he's just kind of like, you gotta when you go, you gotta get big Buddha being pissy. Like, some of the way he delivers it is with that Bill Cosby mouthful of syrup, kind of like, oh, you go when you get the thing. Like it's kind of, I mean, I'm doing a John Madden impression right now. I apologize. I'm not good at a Bill Cosby, but I can do. Would you like me to do a John Madden impression?
Yes, please.
Well, you see the quarterback. Perfect. Beautiful. Don't even know if that's me or Tommy Blaze.
I feel like a lot of 80s male comedians, their whole thing was them being comfortable and then life getting in the way.
I was watching TV. I had the remote in my hand. I'm going to twirl it like a gunslinger and stick it in my belt or whatever.
Do you understand? I was watching TV. I was comfortable.
And then I had this ball and chain coming in and nagging in my ear.
Jello. Oh. I didn't want to say Jello, but it just came out of me.
Yeah, Pat Summerall.
Pat Summerall.
Hey, nice Raven Power, John Madden.
Nice pull.
Thanks, man. Thanks. I know. Did I get it right? Pat Summerall? What did I say?
Yeah, I think so. I think you said Pat Summerall.
I probably did, yeah. So Tommy Blaze is definitely lying in this story when he's like, I missed this thing. I missed the court case by 6 weeks. And then I had to drive to Tampa. And like, I thought it would take, 20 minutes. And then I was in jail for 5 days.
Well, and he's framing his life as being addicted to to TV,
Mhm.
and his whole life is TV, and his his house is getting all gross and stuff like that. But it's just him doing coke and
Yeah.
drinking a lot and
Yeah.
destroying his life.
Yeah, definitely. Tommy Blaze has some dark secrets. Some
Eyes.
big skeletons in his closet that we're never going to see, that are never going to see the light of day. But that man better turn to God. He's got some praying to do from the looks of it.
I think he wrote himself into Darlin Arlen. That's him.
You're probably not wrong about that. There's probably a lot of old T-Blaze and Darlin Arlen.
Yeah, they both have the same sunken eyes, and that's all I need is the sunken eyes.
Mm-hmm. That's all you need. I want my heroes to look tired all the time.
Yeah, just coked out of their mind.
Tommy Blaze has the best joke in this entire performance.
Give it to me.
It goes like this. You don't want to, trust me when I say, you don't want to go to jail for cursing. Because they don't have a separate jail for potty mouths. And that's it.
Was that for the kids?
That for the kids?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Well, I mean, the kids in the audience, I think, would really, figure that one out. They would really attach themselves to that one.
I see what you're saying. That was his lesson for the kids in the crowd.
Yeah.
Oh, gotcha. Yes, absolutely it was. 100%. Kids came home after that performance, and there were many kids in the audience. Kids came home from that performance and were like, Mom, I don't want to go to jail for cursing. I don't want to go to jail for cursing because they don't have a separate jail for potty mouths.
Why wasn't David A.R. White having a lot of sex?
We're talking about Tommy Blaze now.
Yeah, I know, but I think the kids would be talking about that.
You're saying you're still a child and you're still acting out the child.
Yeah, I'm a child, yeah.
I wish I would have got the line where David goes, I don't even have sex.
Yeah.
I wish I would have snagged that. I thought about doing it and then I just got lazy and just didn't do it. But
I haven't even had sex.
It's very funny.
And all the parents rushing to cover their kids' ears.
Exactly. And they go, what's that? And they go, it's when God comes down and bangs a stork, splits a stork in half, and then that's where your baby sister came from.
Shut up, kid.
Well, where do babies come from? Shut up.
Well, it's definitely Tommy Blaze's response.
Oh,
See,
yeah.
you're right back at it.
And he's got anywhere between 1 and 5 kids. I don't know. They keep showing pictures of children at the end, but it's like either these are the same, either these are different kids or these are just pictures of a kid growing up. I don't know. They're all going to look like Tommy Blaze, but I don't know who all these kids are.
What I pieced together of the timeline is that at the time that this story is being told, he had 1 child.
Yes.
And they're going through the divorce, and then they rekindled their relationship,
I guess.
which is probably the horniest a male and a female could ever be, is when you get undivorced. So they had a bunch more kids, and he ended up with 3.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. You think he has 3? That's fair.
You gotta have 2 kids when you rekindle a marriage.
Oh yeah, those are the anchors that lock in that rekindled marriage.
Yeah. Oh, I'm giving you the anchor. That sort of thing. And you'd love to receive the anchor too.
Next time you're fricking your wife,
yeah,
I want you to yell, "I'm dropping anchor," just to see what she thinks. And then report back to the show next week. Tell us what she thinks.
The problem with erming your erm is that there are a plethora of funny things to say.
Yeah.
But you're not really thinking of funny things when you're erming. You're thinking about erming.
I don't know. I laugh a lot. When I'm about to erm. Even if no one else is laughing, I'm laughing really hard.
Yeah, I usually cry.
Well, fair enough. See, that laughter and crying are not too different from each other.
They really aren't. And unrelated to what we're talking about, I need to go have a shower right now.
Well, too bad.
Okay.
Yep, sorry. Tommy Blaze says he used to go to he went to church on Creaster, Christmas and Easter, and then there's a long pause, and then people start laughing, and Tommy gets this look on his face that's like, yeah, I just said that. That's right. Creaster.
I'm
That's
edgy.
Right.
I know what to do.
I know. I'm that kind of Christian. You know, I'm hip. I got it. Don't you worry about me.
Do you think anybody booed?
Yeah, lots of people. Constantly. They had to cut around that and edit in laughter for everything that was
Christ
said.
and Creaster.
They said, we paid $400 for these tickets. And this is what we're getting. Fabric just draped on the stage. This is not worth $400 to me.
Well, they made up for it with the Asian buffet.
Oh, right. I forgot about that. God, what could be more delicious than a free Asian buffet?
Yeah. Korean chicken and chicken bowls.
Wow. Sum up my life in one sentence. Oh, I wish I could go eat a free Asian buffet.
A free one.
Yeah, I don't want to pay for it. God, no.
Yeah.
It's creasy.
There's a lot of pay for Asian buffets, but...
Oh, yeah. No thanks. No thanks. So, Tommy Blaze is like trying to burn his house down?
Yeah, he goes insane.
Yeah, he loses his mind.
Yeah. I forget what spurs that, though.
Well,
like,
he's at his neighbor's house, and then his neighbor's like, maybe you need God in your life. And he's like, yeah, maybe I do, or whatever. And I cried out to the heavens, why can't I get a divorce? And then the answer was, because I don't want you to. And so I decided to burn my house down.
Maybe I do, or whatever. Might be my favorite line of yours ever. It was just so real, you know?
Yeah, well, I'm a very natural actor. That's what everyone says about me.
Yeah, he's maybe sober for a couple minutes, probably not, pretty coked out, goes over to his very Christian neighbors and bares his soul, or like the other guy tries to get him to bare his soul, and he's like, yeah, whatever, Christ, I'll do it.
Bared his nuts, yeah.
Yeah, and then he goes home and goes crazy.
Just to burn his house down. Like he leaves his neighbor's house having come to the conclusion that God doesn't want him to get a divorce, I guess, rather than just assuming naturally that it's his own like inner actual feelings about the situation coming up. Like instead of his brain being like, yeah, actually, in truth, if we can be true with each other and honest, we don't want to get a divorce. Instead, he goes, God doesn't want me to get a divorce. Sure, man, fine.
Well, when profits are of the house that is about to be sold are at stake, you just burn her down. You say, hell to it. I'm not letting my future ex-wife have any of this money. So you burn it down. Well,
and that's the thing. He burns it down because he's mad, but he left his neighbor's house being like, all right, I'm not going to get a divorce. And then he's like on the way home, anger popped out of the bushes like a weasel and climbed up on my shoulder and was like, you should burn this house down. And I was like, yeah, you know what? Yeah, I'm going to burn this house down.
Yeah. He thinks of, cleaning his house and getting his life back together.
Selling the house.
Yeah. Switch flips, and then he decides to burn it all down. Yeah.
It's very strange how he got, like, again, we're missing crucial pieces of information from Tommy Blaze's story. This was the worst, actually, because I knew that there was some stuff in Tommy Blaze's life. Like, obviously, a man like that, he's got some sins in his past. But all this did was whet my appetite. It made me starving, where I was hungry for more Tommy Blaze, but now I'm famished and I'm starving for more information about Tommy Blaze. I think this might be our only chance of getting it, though, and I just don't think we're going to get any more from him.
Yeah, we saw like a glimpse, very like a week maybe of this man's life, and I want to see the whole kit and caboodle.
Yeah, absolutely. He was living in Florida. Are you telling me this guy wasn't off the rails? Like he was having a crazy life down in Tampa or Miami or wherever he was.
Yeah, living the Christian comic dream. I want a tell-all novel from him. And I think the world deserves it. And
failing that, I'd at least like to get the unedited performance of his chunk of this show, which I will tweet at David A.R. White about. He will like the bot that runs his account will like the tweet, and then that'll be it, and that'll be the end of the story for it.
Yes. Hashtag give us the full chunk. Please.
Hashtag God is groovy, baby. Yeah.
Yeah. And then the phone rings.
Yeah. Yeah. As he's trying to burn the house down, the phone is ringing.
Yeah. Ring, ring.
Ring, ring. And heard the phone ringing.
But you're going crazy, so, lots of stuff is going on.
Oh, yeah. I do love that he just, answers the phone, screams at his wife, but then it's not his wife, it's his daughter. And he just, screamed at a little girl, and then he collapses. The agony is too much. Cut to black.
Much like what that priest did to that little kid, he is crumpled.
Oh, oh boy. I'm glad that you had some clarifiers on that, because when you said what that priest did to that kid, I went, well, maybe we might have to cut this part. We'll see.
Yeah, no, I cleaned her up. Don't worry.
Yeah, he got crumpled. You're absolutely. I'd forgotten about crumpled, and you're absolutely right.
Yeah.
He crumpled him. He crumpled him.
Yeah, and you really feel all of his crumpled.
Oh yeah, I crumpled him. Do I have that? Do I have crumpled as a clip? Maybe I don't.
As a soundbite? Maybe.
Oh no, I have this though.
Begonia, begonia, begonia.
Which is the same thing. It's really a destruction of a character.
Yeah. I mean, I also have this. My balls. That's from a different episode.
Yeah, and that's not really, that's our soundbite. That's us.
Exactly.
Well,
yeah.
that's you.
And then that's the end of Tommy Blaze's story, I guess. And then Brad Stein comes on, and who cares? He swallows fire and swallows a sigh, and has to have gimmicks in order to make a story interesting, and he just sucks. So after this, Brad Stein doesn't really do much with David A.R. White and Tommy Blaze after this. They're all in the movie Marriage Retreat together, which we do need to watch at some point because it looks crazy. It stars Jeff Fahey, so we definitely got to watch that at some point. But after that, Brad Stein's he's written out of the story after this, so couldn't happen fast enough.
I'll say one thing, he does swallow a sigh, and before he swallows the sigh, he licks it to show how sharp it is. But he licks it so hard that it proves that it's not sharp at all.
Well, see, I had a different interpretation of it. I think he licked it so that he wouldn't have to spit on it before he shoved it down his throat.
Well, it's a two-banger. I think it's supposed to show that it's sharp because he's supposed to delicate, but it's a rod, baby.
Yeah, yeah. And also, how many times have you licked that thing? That made my stomach do a backflip when I watched him lick that sigh 3 times. It's that's so gross, man. That's so gross.
I'm surprised he didn't get somebody from the audience to lick it for him.
I'm surprised that he had any saliva left in his mouth after all the talking that he's done.
Yeah, true. He's a consummate professional, and we love you, Brad Stein.
We love you, Brad Stein. You've really done the Lord's work here today. Thank you so much. Yeah, you're a real mustard man. There, I got him into this episode too. Thank God.
Yeah, thank God. And then they all get on stage.
Yeah, and they share a 3-way kiss, and then the lights go up, and they take their bows and collect their flowers. It's a beautiful moment.
It's the human story. Good night.
You better run on for a long time. Run
on. Yeah.
So,
Adam, what did you think of 2011's Run On?
Well, Steve. Well, brother, I think that this movie it doesn't do a good enough job at giving us the full story. I want the full 4.5-hour unedited take of this performance, and I demand it, actually. So, David, I know you listen to all of our episodes. Please send the complete unedited 4.5-hour cut of this to pureboyspod@gmail.com, and we will review it on another episode. Probably just the Tommy Blaze part, the 90-minute Tommy Blaze section, but give it to us anyway because this just whet my appetite for more Tommy Blaze. What about you, Steve? What did you think of 2011's Run On?
Well, I love how you fit Wet and Tommy Blaze into the same sentence.
Thank you.
I think that was genius.
Get wet.
Not only do I want to see the extended cut, but I also want to see the audience cut. I want to see different shots of the audience in real time as you just hear the audio from the stage.
Oh, I love it. You want an audience cam that you can, just so you can cut to that and just watch the audience the entire time.
all audience, all time. They had multiple camcorders going on, or iPhones or whatever, and I want to see it. I thought this was genius. It should be on Broadway and right next to Cats.
Oh, agreed. Yeah, definitely at least as good as Cats, if not better.
Oh, much better. They need a Rum Tum Tugger, but once they get that, they're Cats, baby.
I'm sorry, I have to interrupt you there for a second. They already have a Tommy Blaze. How is that any different or better than or worse than a Rum Tum Tugger? That's essentially a Rum Tum Tugger.
You make a valid point, and I can't argue against it.
You know, let's go through real quick. If the cast of this movie was in Cats, who would each of them play? Whomst would be the Cats of this production?
They'd all be Rum Tum Tugger as far as I'm concerned.
I don't know. I kind of feel like, obviously Tommy Blaze, Rum Tum Tugger. But David A.R. White, maybe he's giving me the wrap it up symbol. All right, gotta wrap it up. I love you.
I love you.
We love you.
We love you.
I can't play two songs at once. The P, the U,
you
the
really
R,
can't.
the E, the B, the O, the Y, the S. It's Pure Boys. Hold up,
I have
it's
to make
Pure
voices.
Boys. Yeah, I got two throats.
throats.
The P, the U, the R, the E, the B, the O,
That came
the
out
Y, the
perfect.
S. It's Pure Boys. Hold up, it's Pure Boys. Say what?